What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight, we're going to be talking about solar flares and a whole lot of them. We're also going to be talking about outages across the country, and now we're getting that it is across the world. We'll be right back, and why this is so important. Well. What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight, we have got a ton to go over, so stick around. First, I want to go over my disclaimers. Of course, we are a independent news agency. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, if you are not getting notifications from YouTube, you can always go to our website. You can actually get push notifications at marfooglenews.com. We also have large creators that write articles for our email list, so make sure to sign up for email alerts as well. Also, if there was ever going to be something that we 100% knew, which has not happened in 3 years, if we knew without a shadow of a doubt that something was going to go down, we would alert you through this system. Of course, you cannot rely on some of these platforms to get out notifications, so we've created our own. We are also in the works of creating a system for you all to communicate again, since Discord of 15,000 was shut down just because of our small group of military. 500. It's a pretty good size one. But again, if for ratio-wise, they shouldn't have done that. Anyways, we're going to get right into the news after we introduce Dex. Dex is my co-host. He is going to be actually updating the website as well. In fact, we do a bibliography. If you go to our website, you'll see it's all organized by thumbnail. So when you see this thumbnail, you'll know to click on it, and you'll be able to get all of our sources, every single tweet, every single video, every single article that we show you here. Even the callers will be updated live. So if they have a channel, a video of a UFO or a video of a Bigfoot or a car crash, no matter what it is, it's going to be down here. Again, all of our sources are there, all of our videos, every tweet, and then our caller info will be updated live on the show as the show progresses. Again, grab a second device and you can read along. With that being said, Dex, what is going on and how are you doing? Let's do a sound check.
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So lots to go over tonight. A lot of news regarding solar events and things like this. We, of course, have had great information coming in. Of course, Foogle fam that we helped get their start, and now they've done all the work to actually just completely blow up. Like Wages World, of course, is over 40,000, I believe. He's been telling us some info, some great info. You guys should check him out. And then, of course, we've got tons of great Foogle fam sending us a lot of really good info. So we'll get right into that without further ado. Remember, you can follow along on a second device. It says, can we predict large solar flares? Solar flares are brief eruptions of intense high-energy radiation from the sun's surface. They're associated with sunspots, coronal mass ejections, and other signs of high activity on the sun. During its 11-year cycle, activity on the sun creates what's known as space weather, which can have an impact here on Earth. For example, a big solar flare can result in charged particles hurled towards Earth that can cause disturbances in the power grid. This is something that we have talked about for 3 years, and we've actually shown you plenty of documentation that should at least have you scratching your head saying, why are we not more prepared? Again, let me ask you this. Government and military have been drilling for pretty much 2 years nonstop. Every week we showed you some sort of drill or exercise preparing to live without internet, without GPS, without power. As you guys remember the stories that I've covered as far as some of these three-letter agencies using eminent domain to take night vision tubes straight out of the consumer's hands, straight out of even the commercial companies' hands, and taking them for themselves. Those are, of course, a key component to make night vision goggles. That was done about 2 years ago. In 2018, there was a lot of weird stuff that happened. The false missile alert. We, of course, had lots of stuff go on with NK. We had, of course, all of the drills around the country. Helicopters picking people up off of roofs, practicing an evac kind of drill. We had the simulation in New York with the asteroid hitting. We, of course, had the beginnings of Space Force. So all sorts of things happened then, and we covered that. Now everything is really coming full circle. So with this, I just have to say we've shown you that NERC, the actual official document, showed that the Department of Energy had all of these complaints, all of these things happen. It was over 500 events happening to our power grid, and they only reported 2. One was a cyber attack that I don't think could have been covered covered up. And then the second was another cyber event. Right now, as we speak, we have certain companies getting hit, and I believe that it might not be cyber. It actually might be solar, but we don't know. Again, I'll let you guys decide that. But it says, but understanding when and why these powerful solar flares happen is one of the most difficult challenges in astrophysics. Now, a team of researchers in Japan think that they may have found a way to predict large solar flares and make better forecasts of space weather. Kanya Kusano, director of the Institute for Space Weather Environmental Research, and his team developed a physics-based model to predict imminent large solar flares. It says this study was published in the journal Science on July 31st. So, again, if they are actually going to try to predict this, and if they could, what would happen? What if they actually knew about one that was going to come, or they knew ahead of time? Would they actually give us enough time to be warned? It says it's a kind of explosion. The driving force is the energy stored up in the sun's magnetic field. The magnetic energy builds up slowly over a very long time, but is suddenly released as radiation and high energy particles. It says it's just an avalanche. It's just like an avalanche on a mountain. The snow accumulates over many days until the gravitational energy is released in an avalanche. Now, if these things head towards Earth, if they're pointed towards us, it can be very, very bad, especially for satellites, for power, for GPS, for everything. And it just so happens there's a lot of that going on right now. It says, U.S. experts say solar storms likely on the upswing. Experts on the U.S. National Atmospheric and Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, say that the sun is in the first year of a new cycle of activity, and they are watching it closely in an effort to guard against solar storms that could cause problems on Earth. It says officials at NOAA explain that the sun, just like Earth, goes through, quote, seasonal cycles, which astronomers have been recording these since 1755. The Solar Prediction Panel, chaired by experts from NOAA and NASA, of course, monitor these cycles, and they say that they last about 11 years. They report a solar minimum between solar cycle 24 and 25, the period when the sun is the least active. Happened in December 2019, putting Earth 8 months into the first cycle of solar cycle number 25. The panel expects sunspot or solar flare activity to peak over the next 5 years. Isn't that funny that they say that it is expected to peak over the next 5 years, and in the same time period, we have all of these big events happening. You have people trying to get off Earth, and we're talking about elites, talking about Asgardia, the formation of space governments. You're talking about every single large corporation trying to build rockets. You're talking about most armies are making bunkers and things. You've got Swedish Army or Swedish Navy actually putting all of their ships in somewhere. So what is actually going on? Is there more to the story? That is the question we're going to ask. Now, over the last few days, we've had several things happen, and I'm going to explain to you how I think that a lot of these are actually related. They say it's in the cloud, which we talked about last night, but there was more after that. Cell down, GPS down, all sorts of things going haywire. AT&T on their employees' side going down. You had Verizon, you had T-Mobile outages, you had cable, Xfinity, you had emergency services and hospitals losing a ton of actual servability there. So again, lots and lots of things here. It says radiation from solar flares can also be dangerous for astronauts, especially those working outside the International Space Station, and for future explorers to the moon. Of course, we just covered the other night how they're talking a lot about the moon and how much radiation is there. Of course, now they think that there's more than they originally thought. But, this all, not so much of that is the big deal here. It says, we have instituted space weather as part of the international, national emergency and local, state, and local emergency management exercises. So, Dex, when it says we have instituted space weather as part of the international, national emergency and local, state, and local emergency management exercises, am I reading this right? Is that saying they're adding this to, say, the alerts and to the warnings that they may give us, and they might just text us saying, hey, we're about to have a solar flare? And
yeah, Adam, that's how I'm taking it. Like we're gonna hear, that we're gonna hear these alerts, or we're gonna see these alerts on our phone saying there's a solar wave coming through, or there's an event that we need to prepare for, right?
And not only that, if you just look at what is accepted fact, and again, you can always have a different opinion, but the accepted fact is a big one happens around every 100 years. The last one, which was the Carrington event, was a humongous event. In fact, back then, before we had a ton of electricity, telegraph lines were exploding. You had all sorts of crazy things going on during that. In fact, they said that it was incredible seeing the auroras hitting Earth, and people have tons and tons of written documentation of when that happened. It was a huge, huge event. We are due for one of those if you are going by accepted fact. It says NASA says that they be prepared for the sun to disrupt our technology in a few years. So they're just straight up telling us that there may be a lack of power, a lack of GPS, a lack of technology. If they're putting this straight out into the MSM, then I would be prepared for something to happen. If it's not natural, it very well could be something planned. Who knows? But I will definitely say, if they are preparing for it, then why are we not preparing for it? It says, according to Dan, quote, it can disrupt radio communication for airplanes. It can cause GPS inaccuracies. So there's actually a lot of effects we feel through our technological systems, and we have to be prepared for them. It says, but why haven't we heard about this before? Dan explained that, quote, for the last few years, the sun has been pretty quiet. We haven't seen a whole lot of big outbursts, but that is about to change. Again, this is just put straight out there, and at this current time right now, we just covered all of these things happening as far as you had hospitals all losing certain systems, and they say that it was an issue with Microsoft Office. Then you also had losing internet, losing cell phone service, and losing the ability to call 911 over the last 2 days. That is one of the most vital systems we have, and it just went down. So I cannot stress enough, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, which again, from the tweets that I've been getting from people not in the United States, a lot of people just assume that everybody watching is from the United States. We have people in Australia, we have people in Europe, we have people all over the world watching this channel. And they are tweeting saying that we are having problems here, we're having cell phone issues. Last night, we had a huge outage again. Me and Dex couldn't even text back and forth. Dex sat there for 45 minutes trying to get a hold of me. It just wasn't working. So, and then, again, one thing that I've noticed is people say, my cell phone works fine. There's nothing wrong. Again, we don't need every single person across the country to tell us that your phone does work. It's the thing is when there's a nationwide outage, that doesn't mean every single phone or every single system is going to go out. So people assume, well, my phone's working, so it's fine. That's not true. In fact, most of these, some of the biggest one, it was 90% or 85% of all of them went down. Not all of them. So it's a very unusual thing. Again, there is something going on here. It says, so what happens if one of these energy bursts off the sun are way bigger than usual? Dan explains that can damage wide-scale power grids and cause huge blackouts. To find out how concerned we should be, 69 News talked to people, one of our local power companies. It says, we have not had any negative effects on our grid in the past from these, but we are prepared to react if they happen, said Joseph Nixon, a communications manager at PPL. It says, Joe says PPL's smart grid computer technology is ready for solar flares. Over the years, we've created new paths of power to get into areas. So if something happens to the power on one line, we can switch around it and get into a community onto another direction. Almost like a train, if they switch the tracks to somewhere else, if one track, say the bridge went out, they would switch the tracks to a different one. Is that really going to do any difference when you don't have everything protected? It's another reason why we have been telling you guys about EMP Shield this entire time. This company is actually working with DoD and DHS to outfit them. These guys were a small company. Now they have grown into this huge company because of their government contracts. They're actually bringing a ton of new jobs into the United States. It's a veteran-owned business, and it's 100% American-made. The cool part is these can actually protect your devices. It will actually ground the signal before it fries them. This protects against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. This actually helps the channel if you go through us, but either way, even if you do not go through us, I highly recommend you go through somebody else or go through them and go around us. It doesn't matter. If every one of us had this, I think that the United States or in anywhere in the world would be much better off. In fact, the country and the government and the military, they are actually doing this basically exactly the same thing. So why are we not? It's because there's some sort of cultural barrier that we're not supposed to prepare for things unless they happen already. We need to be proactive, not reactive. Again, if you want to support us and protect yourself, you actually can protect your house. You can protect your boat, your solar system, your vehicle, your all sorts of things, even your boat. You can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, I hope you guys end up going through there, no matter how you end up doing it. Again, we've shown you enough to wake people up. We're going to go to our first caller. Then we're actually going to go and talk about the direct outages that are happening right now. Widespread internet outages affecting central New York. All sorts of states are being affected right now. You've got AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Xfinity, all the big companies. Again, if you would like to call in, you can call in at 224-400-MARF. The number is going to be scrolling down here shortly. Again, that's 224-400-MARF. All right, Dex, if you want to bring in our first caller, it looks... 1 second. You're going to have to bring him in. Mine needs to refresh.
Hey, Adam, our first caller is Miles, and I'm trying to get him on the line right now.
All right, perfect. In the meantime, I'm going to head over to the chat. I want to thank you guys for all being here. Working Man's PhD says, love your show, Marf and Dex. Enjoy being a Foog. Miles, you're live on Marfoogle News.
What's up? So, Marf, I just wanted to ask a question to you in the audience real quick, and then I'm going to get full Peterson right into what I have to say. Do you know what the number one cause of death is in America?
I don't know. I would guess heart attack.
Well, yeah, you're close. It has to do with obesity. And obesity is the number one cause of death here in America. And I'm going to put this out on the table and tell the fam and everyone who's listening that our food is probably the largest blah, blah, blah that we have to worry about, And I can prove that with ice cream. Ice cream is a perfect example. It takes only 2 ingredients to make ice cream unless you add vanilla extract and cream. Then you're at 4 simple ingredients: milk, sugar, cream, vanilla extract. Some ice creams can have up to 33 ingredients, maybe more. This is how scary it is. Look up the organ, the omentum. The omentum is described as a fishnet. It's what catches everything we eat. And if you get on YouTube, you can see a nice video that Dr. Oz does about it with Oprah Winfrey. You know, the thing about it is it catches everything. And when I grew up, we were given a huge plate of food, and we were told to eat that huge plate of food because there were starving kids in the world. And if we let any go to waste, shame on us. Well, I'm a little bit different with food portion, and how I tell people that food portion, how I explain it, is anyone who's had psychedelic mushrooms knows 3.5 grams of weight wise will send you and another person for a ride. That's a very light amount of food. So what we consume is broken down on a very microscopic level. The same note, all survival experts, whether they know it or not, say morale is the number one key to survival. So if you have to have that cupcake, please have that cupcake is what I tell everyone. But then the next time I see that person, they're eating the cupcake. And so I only have to add to that self-control is important and moderation. And always remember, everyone, that physical obedience equals spiritual release. Some of the best things that have ever come out of life has been from sacrifice. I just believe if we can start eating better and drinking better, and what I mean is only water. A lot of people want to say, oh, it's what you eat. It's what you eat. Actually, it's what you drink. We should only be drinking water. Our kidneys filter all of our blood. It's very important to drink water. More energy. We need more energy to handle this world. Now add this to your thoughts. Right-handed people are out there in this world, and left-handed people are out there in this world. What if I was to say your back pain may be due to being right-footed? We are all conditioned to being right-footed people. I can prove that because what foot do you drive with? Now, I saw something on YouTube. I'm going to switch from health and physical therapy. I'm actually going to jump into trees. I thought this would be really neat to share with everyone also. Petrified tree stumps. Do you have that pulled up, Marf?
I have the image right here. I'll pull it up right now.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you check out these petrified tree stumps, and then you just you look at all the different kinds of the petrified tree stumps, and then go ahead and type into your search engine with images Devil's Tower. Now, what some people are claiming is that is at one time a prehistoric fossilized tree. And it's almost remarkable, the resemblance of the tree stumps, and then you look at what they say was caused by volcanic activity because of the columns. And so it really raises the question and makes you wonder. And what do you think about that? You think that was a big fossilized tree at one time? I think it was.
Oh, so you're saying giant trees. Yeah, we've actually looked at this, and we've had callers before bring up kind of map areas. If, like, check this out. So this is a perfect picture to explain it. Look at this. So there's a theory that these, back before we were around, or a different version of us, that these were giant trees. I mean, it does look. I mean, if you look at some of the satellite photos, it's insane. It looks to where there's giant leaves. I mean, if you think about it, it might even prove biblical times of giants. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly. One other thing I wanted to leave with our viewers too was a symbol of a dragon holding a sword.
And what is
you got that pulled up?
Yep. And what is the significance of this?
All right. So this is my faith. This is my belief right here, everyone. So I've changed this tattoo, or I've gotten this tattoo on my back. I've changed the design of it a little bit. I tweaked it. And how I did so was I took the planet Earth and I had that tattooed on the very top of the sword. And in the middle of the sword, I had tattooed a very light blue eye. And in the middle is engraved Cave Cave Dues Videt on the sword, which is in Latin, beware, beware, God is watching. What I believe is the reason so many horrible things go on in this world is because the devil holds God in his grasp. But God holds us in his grasp. We can extinguish these evil, horrible things on this earth because what slayed the dragon? The sword slayed the dragon in the man's hand. And so we, the people on top of the sword, grab that armor and our weapon, we can slay the dragon. It's given to us. And then I wanted to leave the family with a quote, and I know that there is a serious issue going on right now around the world, especially here in America. It has to do on a personal level, and I hope I don't offend you and on your show, and I'm going to avoid one of the filter words by going around it by saying a couple extra words. And the quote, everyone get your pen and get your paper because it is a longer quote. And I think people need to hear this quote out there. All right. This is a Miles quote. Those who contemplate taking their own life, but don't follow through with it, never find themselves regret it later on in life. And I hope everyone can remember that because as bad as it can get and as bad as it seems, it does get better.
Well, great job, Miles. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all views on my show. Never actually thought about the prehistoric thing on a daily basis, so thank you for bringing that up. Again, we need to do a show about giants because a lot of people email me about it, and I just never do it. But we've had so much to cover lately. It's been absolutely insane. We're going to go back into the news. Again, that was Miles. Any link that he sent us here, including the 3 pictures, will be on the website. If you go to marfooglenews.com, you can access any caller's info. All right, and then we have a widespread internet outage affecting central New York school districts. If you want to talk about a school at home, a lot of people have been at home. This is, again, something that is affecting a lot of people. It says a widespread internet outage is affecting several school districts, interrupting online classes on Tuesday. Liverpool, Jamesville, DeWitt, Fayetteville, Milanlis, Onondaga, Auburn, and Central Square school districts are among those reporting outages. Liverpool school officials said that the problem started mid-afternoon. Others are also affected. It says Central New York Regional Information Center, or CNYRIC, which provides internet access for 49 school districts in the region, attributed the problem to internet service providers' outages in the Northeast. Now, so this is the Northeast is having this giant problem with internet outage. Again, people in, wherever, they might be Mississippi going, my phone works fine. There's nothing going on. Fake news. It's all over the country, and it's in what I want to know is it in specific places? What if it was not solar related, and what if this is something that's going on? If it was solar related, why does it affect some places and not other? That is one thing that I have a question. Probably have like Wages World explain that, or somebody like that to come on. It says Spectrum officials said there are no widespread outages and said that they provide network support to CNYRIC, which offers access to a variety of service providers. The issue, it appears to be with one of those service providers. So that's another thing. They're saying, there's nothing wrong, but there's obviously something wrong. People are obviously saying all over the world that something is happening. When this does happen, say this time around, it is 6 or 7 huge states that are going out, or however many millions are out of cell phone service or this or that. What if it's all of them? That's the question I ask you. Are you ready for no communications, period? Can't use your cell phone, can't dial 911, can't go on and ask somebody online. That was the one thing too. It's like, if you don't have internet and you don't have cell phone service and you don't have anything else, how are you going to call? a lot of you don't even have landlines anymore. Some of you might be going, of course everybody has a landline. No, people don't. In fact, most people do not. Just to get a survey here in both chats, do you still have a landline? And I'm sure there's a lot of you that actually do. How many people don't have a landline anymore that just use a cell phone for their main communication? No phone actually hooked up into your house. I think that would be very interesting to see. In fact, I'll see if I can. No, let's see. That's the wrong one. Let's see. I'm gonna put it back on screen if I can. There we go. This should populate here in a second, and let's see how many people don't have a landline anymore. All right, and then is the internet falling apart? Of course, they have articles like this after a couple days, right? Imagine a week or 2 weeks without power or any kind of internet, which, by the way, we saw in the last couple days, 911 completely go out nationwide as far as most places had issues. If you have 911, such a vital service, hooked up to the internet and depended on, say, Microsoft Office 365, then what happens when we lose all of it? This is, it's very, in hindsight, I think that they probably see the issue here. We should not be dependent on Microsoft anything for our vital systems. It says the president's 2 August executive order banning the mobile app TikTok and the mobile app WeChat, along with the State Department's major foreign policy initiative for, quote, a clean internet within the United States, are only the most recent signs that once open global internet is slowly being replaced by 200 nationally controlled separate internets. And while these separate American, Chinese, Russian, Australian, European, British, and other, quote, internets may decide to have some things in common with each other, the laws of political gravity will slowly pull them further apart as interest groups in each country lobby for their own concerns within their country. Moreover, they will probably see the emergence of a global alternate internet before long. Some of the nationalistic disintegration of the internet has been foreseen as the 1990s open global internet gradually became a principal domain of war, news, espionage, politics, propaganda, banking, commerce, and entertainment and education since around 2005. The process of creating hundreds of individual national internets has been slow because the global internet, the network of networks, it was never designed to recognize national borders, and because the United States had been a forceful opponent of fragmented set of national internets. Both of these conditions have changed, and they are changing rapidly. This next part's very important, but first I want you to think about that. So we saw Russia totally separate, right? We talked about that. You guys, if you follow, you know all about what we were talking about. But again, there's a lot more going on right now as far as every country. If you're talking about Australia, Europe, or even subsets, you're talking about different provinces that are breaking up their own internet. And this is because their views don't align with this country or that country or this country. Now, all of a sudden, we don't have a WWW, a World Wide Web. Now we have a US net, right? Or a Russian net or a China net. And it's absolutely terrifying because they are slowly, basically all putting us in an information box. Think about it. And here's the other thing. So say there's all these strings tied to everywhere globally, and then you start snipping those strings, and you only leave 4 or 5 strings for each country, right? You have Twitter, you have YouTube, you have this, you have that, you have some of the monopolistic companies being the strings to other countries. But then those strings are then monitored, and terms of service are so dry, and some things cannot be said. If you say the wrong thing, you're gone. You basically have to fit into the narrative, otherwise you don't access the world. This is what is happening, and it's happening right in front of us. So things are about to get a lot worse, and there's no sugarcoating it. This is happening as we speak, and the disintegration of the internet is now. So I hope that everyone understands that this is something that we take for granted and that we shouldn't take for granted. It says, to oversimplify the genesis of the internet, the U.S. Defense Department's DARPANet was designed to allow completely different computer networks, think IBM and UNIVAC or PC and Mac, to connect to each other by inserting between them a gateway that converts each network's computer language into a common computer language. It says, called Internet Protocols. The genius behind the concept is not all computer networks needed to use the same computer language. They only had to convert to a common language at a gateway, which then routed everyone on every network to everyone on every other network. And since computer networks do not inherently notice or care which city, province, state, or country they're in, or the nationality of the human user, the technology was not designed to take national borders into account. And that is what is going on. Dex, as our tech expert here, you've worked with big tech companies. You've worked in the internet sphere of things. In fact, when you were younger, you worked in kind of the beginning of the internet. What do you think about this whole thing, and do you see it as well? Do you see them separating?
Hey, Adam, are you talking about the separation like we saw with Russia?
Yes, the complete and everywhere, really.
Yeah, and what's interesting, the way I look at this is not just that they separated, as they said, it was for defensive purposes, right? And ultimately, you could look at it that way. But what they also did was they injected an entire management system that allows them to basically censor their entire internet. If they wanted to replace a website, if they decided tomorrow that if you're in Russia and you type in yahoo.com and they don't want you to go there anymore, they can put up their own server and take all that traffic and send it to their own version of yahoo.com. So that's type of censorship is what we've seen in, say, China for sure. But it's interesting is how it rolled out into Russia so quickly. And we talked about that last night. It literally happened overnight, and they tested it, like 3 different ways and got all the way up to full testing within like 6 months. But they rolled that out, and it wasn't about the messaging wasn't about censorship. But now they have that full-on censored platform that's completely rolled out in there. So as we, I think we need to pay attention. I think, we all pretty much deal with censorship, just looking at the internet as a whole, just from the different platforms. But as you think about it from a governmental point of view, when they own the networks or they take control of the networks like that, a lot of times they may say one thing and they're looking to do something else.
Yeah, and as far as the sentence that I just highlighted here, the global internet is controlled by businesses. Think about it. There's not really a... You would think that it's run by the UN or somewhere. It's really run by a handful of businesses, and now they're starting to coordinate and change everything so where they can keep the narrative the same. Look at how whatever was happening here, everything that was Here's how I know that places like Facebook and others have such a huge pull. When we had the GF thing happen here, of course, a few months ago, and all of these riots started, where else did they start? It started globally. All over the world, in Italy and Greece, they were talking about a guy who was arrested here in the United States, which shouldn't have to do with their government because... are their police exactly the same as ours? Do their police have something in common, or are they fighting for the right for people here? Because you don't see that very often. You don't see people out on the street saying like, Italy is bad, we need better government in Italy. You're like, okay, but you're in New York. What are you doing here protesting that? It's because in the things that have been going through the internet, the things that are really turning people's heads, making them angry, triggering them. These are global things, and they're things that they want you to see. So if something goes viral now, it's a lot less likely to go viral naturally if it has anything to do with any sort of political thing, any sort of this or that. The things that do go viral, of course, it's just as if now they've changed it to authoritative sources on everything if it's to go viral. If you look up any source with the word news in it, you're going to get the main 3 networks or 4 networks. That shouldn't be how it is. It should be the first thing that pops up to the keyword you're searching. But now it actually has an extra filter. So if you're looking for car crashes by state news, and then all of a sudden you should get, if I did a video saying there was 450 car crashes per, Washington, and made that a title, it should pull that up. But instead, it's going to pull up something that probably doesn't even make sense. That's Fox News, and it'll have crash in it. They do that because they are controlling everything now. And it's getting worse and worse. Now we're adding facial recognition. Mind you, I want to talk about that as well, as far as them adding Palm. The internet is connected completely to all of the governments, all of the everything that's going on. DHS, if you guys remember, just a few weeks ago, we covered that they were adding separate and other things to their routine thing, right? If they used to arrest somebody at Department of Homeland Security, they would take their fingerprints, their name, all that kind of stuff. Now they're taking their fingerprints, their palm print, their irises, their DNA, all this other stuff. It's a whole list that now is just standard. They're going to take that stuff when they do it, and facial recognition. Isn't it weird that just after that's announced, within a week, we see something saying Amazon is adding palm print technology to stuff? It's not an accident. They're trying to get everybody's palm print, DNA, iris, all this kind of stuff. Everything is going through this system. I guarantee you, if we have an internet that's all connected at some point, and I bet you it's all going to go down before we get it all on one. Watch them fix a lot of things after it comes back up. I bet you that it will be a system that is set up to grab all of that kind of information. That's just my opinion. Again, nothing to back that up. And then we have a new theory, says solar flare may have helped sink Titanic. Yeah, definitely an odd one, but let's hear it out. It says a new theory being proposed by those looking to get the iceberg off the hook, or at least partially, for sinking the Titanic, has been put out forth by researchers who have instead decided to pin some of what the disaster on the sun. It says, on a related note, let this be the part where we say that alternative theories can be enjoyable to read, but, well, don't run your boat into icebergs. It's just something that was written that you might find interesting. It says, a new paper says that on the night Titanic sunk, April 14, 1912, the northern hemisphere was having a, quote, moderate to severe magnetic storm, which may have messed up the ship's navigational readings. It says they also propose that this may have thrown off the planned course that the ship was on and led it right into an iceberg. So they're basically saying it could have messed up the compass, and this could have actually killed hundreds of people in the result of the very horrible event of Titanic. It says they also propose that this may have thrown off the planned course, and it says that hindered their ability to alert others about where they were via SOS signals. It also may have screwed up with other ships' ability to locate the doomed vessel. It says it's a good segue. The author of the paper, Mila Zinkova, has 4 previously published papers on the subject of Titanic, which were published in the journal Armet's Weather, in which theories were proposed that claimed mirages, optical illusions, contributed to the ship meeting the bottom of the Atlantic. Isn't that weird? So, one thing that is crazy about it is that they have been recording it. They've been recording it much longer than some of the stuff that we haven't recorded. There's been scientists, like they said, for over 200 years kind of, recording this kind of stuff. So it's just odd that we have something that we do have such good documentation on. And I think it would be something, if they knew that much about it, and this is one of the longest studied things, that they would also have a grip on how to cover it up. Zippy Moons, where's Susan Donahue? We need hashtag Team Humanity. I have been recurring dreams. Try to call Saturday. What is going on, Zippy Moons? Hey, I haven't seen you in a minute. Gone Girl 777, thank you so much for your support. Shy the Coffee, Johnny Doom, Jilly J, of course, Brilliant, Hopkinson, Cactus Patch Girl. About 2,000 over on D-Live. Thank you guys for coming tonight. CDK, Brilliant, Luna Soul, and then, of course, almost 4,000 at one point at YouTube. So thank you guys. About 6,000 watching. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Bassoon Lips, Paco Taco, thank you for following. As always, if you subscribe during a live show, you will get a shout-out. Kaja Fly Girl, I appreciate your support tonight. And Kelly2334, Dev B, and Mersa1. We've got all of the longtime Foogle family members here, like Just a Cat Mom, Renegade Petey, Missy Mel, Lady Mel, Luna Soul. Man, all the good people are there. I saw Scott Miller. Thank you so much for your support over on YouTube. Looks like now we have 4.3 thousand watching. So thank you guys for joining. Obviously, a very touchy subject tonight as far as the internet, as far as things going out. Here's what some of the folks behind the scenes are saying. This is, I believe, in something that we are going to see very soon. And they are telling us this, and they are putting it out quietly. Nobody's really talking about it. It's probably going to go through this little phase, right? And then all of a sudden there's no outages, and everybody's going to forget about it. But again, they are telling us in the next couple years that we are expected to have this. Does that explain why the U.S. was doing all these drills without GPS, without communications, why they were picking people up off of roofs? And then if you go back to the Suspicious Observers documentary, if you haven't seen the one, I don't know what it's called, and I don't know if he's done multiple, but the one I watched actually talks about the sun being behind a ton of the actual disasters that have happened on Earth. It is... I don't know if you could even call it a fringe theory. It is based on a lot of facts throughout history and a lot of things that have been said and new evidence that has come forward and come to light. A lot of really big historic events have been tied to the sun, and it would make sense. And, you know, with everybody talking about climate this and climate that, I would heavily suggest that people do some research on the sun and the history of it. This may be something that, you know, we just need to expect and get it over with and then fix and you know, do all this. The U.S. government is trying to actively fix up our system. Maybe it's not because of NK. Maybe it's not because of Russia. Maybe it's because they know that the sun is going to blast us at some point in the next couple of years. And if you're seeing a college say that they can predict it, then the government most likely already has that technology and has already predicted it, put a date on it, and had somebody like Elon Musk say, hey, we need a contingency plan and we need to get people to Mars by 2025 because the Earth is probably going to have no power. And they say if all of the power went out, if all the lights went out, if everything went out, we would lose 90% of our population in the first year. That's not just something made up. That's something that they said because of water and resources and things like this, mainly water, we would be screwed. Everything is dependent on internet. Everything's dependent on power. Nobody knows how to live anymore like this. I mean, there's a good amount of people that make a point to, like Prepper Nurse 1 or any of the Prepper fam that we have in the Foogle fam. But again, the majority of people don't. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to those preppers and they're going to go, hey, help us. But you can't help everybody. You can try. It's going to be absolutely insane when it happens. And I think it is a when, not an if. And that's not to scare people. Like anybody who's watched this show for a long time, we try to lift you up by the end of the show. Again, I think that people should look at this head on and look at it right in the eyes, just as if you're afraid of spiders. How do they fix that fear? You hold a spider. If you're afraid of heights, they put you on a ledge with a thing, and they put you out there so you get over it. You have to face your fears. And if this is your fear, and if you're stressed out and panic attacking, then you probably need to do something about that. You actually need to probably think, hey, I've got to get used to this. One, all humans die. We're all going to die at some point. And really, it brings you full circle back around, and you realize everybody is afraid. Not one person is not afraid. If they're not afraid, then they've accepted death. Because that's really, in the end of all of this, that's what we're really afraid of. Everybody hates aging. We don't want to get older. It scares us every second. Every one of us thinks about death every single day. Probably hundreds of times, and you don't even think about it. We think about death every time we misstep on the bottom step. We think about it every time you get on a shaky deck. You think about it every time you hop in the car. We think about death. And once you start accepting that you have death, that's why so many people with a really hardcore faith, they're not afraid by this. Because if they do die, they know what's happening, right? But people without, They're afraid of it. They don't want to talk about this, and they want to go da la 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 la. We need to accept the fact that very bad things will happen. Think about Japan having that tsunami come in. Nobody wants that. Nobody expects it to happen. In fact, that one wasn't even supposed to happen. That one was a fault line they didn't even know existed. They built all their buildings to an 8.7 because they didn't know there was a 9.0 capable subduction zone underneath there. The same kind of subduction zone is on the West Coast. It's called the Cascadia, and it's going to go too. And it very well could be affected by solar flares. And they may know that. And maybe that's why they're doing, whole West Coast drills like Cascadia Rising. So when this does happen, the people that are not afraid, they're not going to freeze. They're going to remember what their training is. They're going to practice beforehand. They're going to grab their go bag. They're going to get out the door, and they're going to survive. But the people that are afraid and go, I don't want to listen to this, it's fear porn, those are the people that are going to be absolutely screwed. And you're going to be going to the Fugel family member that's been thinking about this every day and thinking about it in a positive way, spending a couple minutes a week thinking, how can I prepare for this? Otherwise, if you don't, then be okay with the fact that you're going to die early. Especially if you're not afraid of death. Just saying. Either way, more people are at home right now than any time in history. With all of the lockdowns or some of the ones that still exist, and a lot of the businesses that are people working from home. There are more people working on computer at home than ever in history, so there's also more cyber criminals ever than history. If you guys want to support the show and protect yourself, I would highly recommend NordVPN. It is one of the top of the top. Of course, usually 12 million subscriber Casey Neistats are usually pushing Nord. We are lucky to have them as affiliate because they are such a reliable product. Make sure to go and put the code in Marfoogle if you want to get a huge savings. In fact, I believe it's 68% off on a 2-year plan. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. It also helps support the channel. We highly appreciate it. All right, and then let's get our next caller in. We're going to go over, it looks like it could be a first-time caller. Let me check here. It looks like we have Joe, first-time caller, former military, talking about poverty zones. Weird. Joe, you're live on Marfoogle News. First-time caller out of Pennsylvania. Joe, are you there?
Doing there, Marfoogle.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
Good, Joe. So you're
doing great.
First, before you start, just want to say salute and thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad I serve this country to this day. When I swore in the 4th and Cherry in Philadelphia, I swore against foreign and domestic. And you know what? I lived on the affluent side and I lived on the poverty side. And I got hurt a year ago really bad on the job. And I paid the government back. But apparently they weren't happy enough. So I started following them around, getting their license plate numbers and wearing glasses, the whole 9 yards. And what it is, it's the poverty zones. It's everything you're talking about, everything, the disasters that come to the United States. Think about this. Why would you put not a Red Cross strip, a Red Cross ship on the East Coast and one on the West Coast for the flu? You don't do that.
Well, and
you just don't do that.
Again, one of the main points too, the phone reception is not amazing here, but so in poverty zones, you're saying that they are listening or they're more active in the poverty zones, the low income areas, than they are in other.
Oh, definitely. I caught them already. Yeah. I caught them. I went down to the FBI. The pens, the cups, anything that has magnetics involved with it, okay, can become an audio device. And what happens is they want to go into the poverty zones, and that's what this is about. This ain't about the affluent. The affluent, I used to live in Scottsdale. I used to live in Glendale, Arizona, okay, and I used to live in an affluent life. I never had this problem. It was only when I came back, when I lost everything because I lost my leg, okay, that I struggled to get back on my feet. And it was like, they didn't want me to get back on my feet. They wanted me to stay in the system. See, when you stay in the government system, they want to keep you in there. The reason why, they can control you. Same thing with all the drugs that are out there. They control you with all the drugs. Do you think you're getting a price of that on the stock market? No, you're not getting none of that. But what you are getting is you are getting people in LA up and down the street, okay, that have no business being there. They have mental health challenges. They have drug addiction problems. Dumping Nancy Pelosi's neighborhood. Nobody wants to do that. But nobody wants to help them people out. We're all human beings. I may be a veteran, but I turned in my dog tags because I don't serve man. I serve God. And that's who I will always serve. No matter what, no matter if I ever had to go to jail. I have a service animal that pees out her butt because she gets scared because of what the government does. And I have proof of it. They won't let me near a news agency. They won't.
Well,
and
so,
that's okay.
You know, you can always take videos of this kind of stuff. If you see something suspicious, I don't think you're crazy, by the way. I do believe they have 3-letter agencies that have not only marked poverty zones, but they have different monitoring systems. Now they do decibel and video monitoring of certain areas, especially in the United States. I can't speak for other countries, but I do know KGB in Russia, they've done stuff with their poverty zones. China's done everywhere. Australia has their own form of it. They, of course, have done their whole set of things over there as well. I get what you're saying. Well, again, thank you for your service. I understand what you're saying, though, about turning in dog tags. You serve God and not man. It must be pretty crazy to look at what's going on right now, knowing that you stood up for your country right now. Do you believe that that police should have some sort of respect as well, as far as what is going on?
Absolutely. I believe this is 100%. I believe for every good cop out there, take away his silver shield and give him a gold shield. For every bad cop that's out there, break down that blue wall, okay? And those cops with them gold shields, start turning and saying and pulling your fellow officers up. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is after this election, no matter who's going to get elected, you are going to have nothing but problems. I support the police 100%. 100%. It's the bad ones I don't support. It's the ones that lock innocent people up and then they get them messed up for life.
Once you're in the system, you're in the system. Well, Joe, thank you so much for calling. It's your first time call. Don't make it your last, okay?
No, I won't, Marfoogle. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You too, and salute. That was Joe, first time caller, former military. If you understand what he's saying, I do believe he's right in a lot of ways. I do know some folks, they actually do take it to the extreme, though, as well, think that they're being followed and this and that. He's not saying that. He's saying he sees the proof that the government is monitoring poverty. It is absolutely true that once they have you in that system, they want you in that system all the time. There's tons of little points that connect that, especially with the prison system. 100%. If you go down that rabbit hole, you'll find a lot of things. All right, and then Kimberly M. Harris says, "Hey, Adam, Dex, Mods, appreciate all of your hard work. Only news I watch." Well, thank you, Kimberly Harris. Thank you so much for your support tonight. Christian Moore, Don Brown Clown says, "Welcome. William, my boy, life is tough. We will work together through everything. Jesus is all of us. I love you. Jorge is ugly. Love you, bro." Christian, I don't know what the heck that was, but thank you so much. Scott Miller, again, thank you for your support tonight. Ilea says, we're not all right-footed. I'm a lefty. Only 10% of the world population is left-handed and left-footed. Hence why the pedal is on the right side to accommodate the righties. The pedal, yes, that's right. That is very true. I'm left-handed, and again, it's weird because everything else is right. I throw right, I bat right, I shoot right. The only thing I do left is right. It's weird. Either way, JA 1507, according to Steve Quayle, this was a cyber attack by WW3. Okay, so what GA15 or JA 1507 is saying, according to Steve Quayle, that this was a cyber event, just what happened right here, by the I country over there. And that this will trigger something. We would see, if it is, and I'm not saying it's not, then we will see a tit for tat, and we will see some big stuff happen in the next month. One thing I have continued to say for the last 2 years is that I believe the one thing that would absolutely keep the president in office is a current conflict. You never want to change a president when a war starts. That is one thing that does keep presidents in there. Apple Blossom 3, thank you so much for the Ninja Genie. Appreciated. Seriously, thank you. Not sure what to tell my kids about where we're headed. Have no idea what it will look like. 221 by 221. Tiffany Angel, thank you for being here tonight. And then Apple Blossom, thank you for gifting subscriptions to Maui Racing Realtor, Jen, Wisconsin, and all sorts of folks. Lady Mel just got one from Apple Blossom 3, Apple Blossom. And then Odonata got one as well. Bodley Locks Awake, thank you for the Ninja Genie. Says, say hi to new subscriber Mama17. Jen Lay's mom, here to help take care of her. Mama17, I'm so glad that the whole family's watching. We've got the wife, the husband, and now Mama. Mama17, you have a wonderful night, and now I hope you're watching every night. Jimmy the Lip is here, a creator, does awesome, retro, weird, cool videos. Brilliant. Unicorn Forest, Dixie Doe is here tonight. We got tons of creators here as well, reading the gospel. You guys are all awesome. All right, and then let's see here. Tony Olson, thank you so much. I did not forget about you. MG Toe Forever, you're awesome, Marf. Love you and Foogle fam. Really, thank you so much. And Vanessa Doe, just got my EMP shield and E-Deck in the mail today. Thanks, Marf. Vanessa Doe, thank you for your support, and I hope that E-Deck goes well. Make sure you get your phone in there. Sean Penn says nothing. Thank you so much for your support, and I believe that's everybody. Thank you, guys. Mary Scholl, thank you so much for your generous support tonight. All right. Getting into it, grace for you too. Stay aware. Thanks for addressing the tough stuff and being real. Well, I mean, again, there's no way to sugarcoat this. We're going to lose our internet at some point. We're going to lose our power at some point, in my opinion. Again, that's something that I've believed, and I've stuck to my guns on that one. All right, getting back into the news, again, this is all outages. Apple outage affected App Store, Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, iCloud Photos, and more. And nothing's going on, folks. It's all the Microsoft Office cloud, right? Think about this. Think about how many things in just the last 3 days we've told you have been affected. Do you believe that this is all the Microsoft cloud? Wake up, people. We're about to be at conflict with another country. That's one thought. Or we have, I would hope that it was that. Because if it's natural, there's no stopping it. Many Apple services were hit by outages Tuesday evening, including the App Store, Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and Apple Arcade, according to Apple's system status page. For a majority of the affected services, Apple vaguely said that, quote, some users were affected. Though for Apple Care in iOS and Apple School Manager, Apple said all users were affected. Here are some of the services that were affected at one point in time. Find My Phone, Game Center, iCloud Account, iCloud Backup, iCloud Calendar, iCloud Contacts, iCloud Mail, iCloud. Do you see this word here? Okay? So Microsoft and Apple. So that's PC and Apple, both affected by this in the cloud. So that, to me, says that there's more evidence that this may be a hack. You see what I'm saying? There's also a solar storm, and I don't know. I don't know. This is what's pulling me back and forth. I feel like something was just done here. Prayers over all of us, Dixie Doe. Marfia equals team awesomeness. Thank you. Apple is not the only company to experience services outages lately. Many Microsoft services were affected by a multi-hour outage on Monday, and there was a multi-state 911 outage on Monday as well. So Monday, Tuesday, and Sunday we had stuff. So now it's 3 days in a row. And then we have China wraps high-altitude trials with chopper drone prototype. I've actually got a picture of this. And then, Dex, I'm going to pull you in here as well. Before we move on, I want to ask you, what would we do if everything went out? If all the power went out, everything? Should we all get not EMP, ham radios? Shouldn't we all have ham radios right now?
Yeah, that's a good backup tool. Certainly, even the handheld ones are better than not having anything. I also think if everything went out, I don't know what we would do. Our brains might explode. Because how can we survive without a phone and the internet, right? At least that's modern civilization in America. I actually might enjoy it for a few days just to take a breather.
Well, there's actual paid camps that you can go away and be away from all electronics. But as far as what is going, I think it was Triforce Kid on Twitter said to make sure to have walkie-talkies. That's something that people overlook. Now that the price has come down so much, we should at least have that, or you should have that with your family. There's 10-mile radius walkie-talkies or even more. I think they have the technology for more. And now they're extremely cheap. Back when I was a kid, if you got those kind of walkie-talkies, you were paying a lot of money. I mean, it was just crazy insane. And now they're so cheap, compared, that everybody should have a set of those and have them charged up at all times. Just as if you've ever worked anywhere with walkie-talkies, just have them on their charging center and leave them there. And then if the power goes out, have a power backup, have some sort of thing that is protected, even if it means the power banks and something to adapt them to things so you can have actual power enough to charge walkie-talkies and communication. I think everybody should have that. China. Yeah,
and on the walkie-talkie front, Adam, they make 3 different types. There's obviously the low, like the 2-mile, 3-mile range that most people get and use. But there's, like I was mentioning earlier, on the ham side, there's the different bandwidth or different frequency ranges or that you can use. And one of them you can get with just a simple registration. You don't have to do the test. And they make these handhelds that'll actually do all 3, even the one that you need to get certified for, right? But if you buy those, you get much longer distance.
So I think that's something that as a group we should all work towards. And once we get our communications up as far as our replacement to Discord, I think that we need to start making sure that at least one person per city or multiple per city groups have those. And so we can communicate and meet up when this stuff happens. Okay, let's get into this again. It says China's AR-500C unmanned aerial vehicle or UAV prototype has completed a test flight at a high-altitude airport and confirmed to be capable of carrying an 80-kilogram or 176-pound payload. That's a man. That's literally taking a full-grown man, according to new state media reports. That also means it can drop all sorts of things: weapons, ammunitions, boom booms, big booms. I mean, we're talking about that taking a big boom unmanned, so if it gets shot down, no risk. Aviation Industry Corporation of China, or the AVIC, revealed that this week that the AR-500C had completed a series of tests on Sunday while in the southwest province of Sichuan, including climbing, hovering, and rotating before landing, according to the South China Morning Post. So this next tweet is a picture of this and a video. So this is what we're talking about. Let me make sure I mute the sound here. Boom. It's just weird. It's like a faceless mannequin. Only that can actually hold 176 pounds. It's just creepy, Dex. These things are going to be.
Well, what I thought was what was interesting is you were just talking about these. Was it? I don't know if it was last show or the show before. You were talking about these chopper style drones, right?
Yeah, and the smaller
now,
one.
Here we have China with their own, right? It's like they're always copying everything.
So, again, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, just the other night, there's about a 4-foot drone that can jam radar. It can do all this stuff. Look at this. Electronic attack. This is one of the main things. It's designed for REC, comm relay, electronic attack, fire strike, and nuclear radiation REC at high altitude. Okay. Nuclear radiation REC at high altitude. Recon. I guess I don't know if that's...
reconnaissance. They're testing and finding out if there's radiation.
So look at how big it is. It's not as big as it looks. When you see the first video, you think, oh, it's the size of a regular helicopter. But it looks like it's about the size of maybe 10 feet. Much smaller than a regular helicopter. If that can hold 176 pounds, that could lift that man and he could hang underneath it. Heck, you could drop off James Bond onto the top of a building. Who knows? But again, these are electronic attack type things. They can go in. They're quiet, much quieter than normal helicopters, and there's no risk involved. So they can go into war zones, and if they lose it, they lose money, but they don't lose life. If you guys don't want to be tracked and traced, I highly recommend an E-Deck bag, just as someone just said they got theirs. Again, what this does is once you put your phone in it, you go off grid. There's no signals going in and out. E-Deck has worked for years, over a decade, with agencies like FBI selling these as evidence bags. So if there's a bad guy and they have evidence laptop, they'll put it in there so it can't be remotely wiped. But for you can put your phones, all of your devices in these, and once you put it in there, it's off-grid. Military-grade signal blocking for an affordable price, and it is extremely high quality. Again, these are meant to last years and years and years. Magnetic enclosures, it's amazing. So anyways, check it out. If you want to help us out, you would use the savings code Marfoogle. You can go to marfooglenews.com/edeck. That's again, marfooglenews.com/edeck. All right, moving on. We're going to bring in our next caller, and it looks like we actually have a good one here. Let's see. It looks like we have... I thought it was... I'm sorry. I want to make sure I call out. Survival Living, the next Carrington event, will be seen in our lifetime or our children. I don't think we will get notified beforehand. Carrington took 17 hours to hit. And then Chicky R said, I have made prepping my hobby for the last few years. The 20-somethings in my family think I'm nuts, but my hubby appreciates all my efforts. All right, let's see here. It looks like we have Snafu Snaps. Joe Biden mark of B. Okay, what's going on here? Snafu, you're live.
Hello?
You're live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, fam and Adam and Dex? I wanted to share something I thought that went along with, you remember back in the day when you were doing stories and you caught the fireworks in the Google algorithm? When you typed the word fireworks and we talked about messaging and signaling all the time?
Yep. So if you don't know what he's talking about, you on your phone, I wonder, actually, hold on. Let's just try it real quick.
It doesn't do it anymore.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay, when you used to do fireworks.
No, it lasted about 2 days when you guys caught that.
Your actual screen would go like this, and you would see little, almost like back in the 90s when you had a fireworks screensaver. That's what it looked like on top of it. It was really weird. But anyways, continue. So
Right.
Yeah, totally remember that.
Well, okay, so and then later down the road, we had a lot of those things that happened at factories, and it's just really odd optics. Well, I found one that I think is relevant, and I'm going to be very careful how we talk about this one, because it does involve the key players in the election. I guess that's what we could say. Do you have a calculator handy?
No, I don't. I mean, other than my phone, I can bust out my phone calculator.
Okay. Well, if you take the year 2020 and divide that by what they call the mark, you know, that num 666, and you notice what, as you can see, creepy sniffer dude, the guy, I don't want to say his name, but the same number that comes out is going to be the same number for his donations for his campaign. And again, the messaging is there. We see all these messages all the time, but I thought it would be interesting to show you guys. You take 2020, the year 2020, and divide it by that number, the mark, and you're going to get Mr. Sniffy and his the same number that he's telling people to text for donations to his election.
Okay, so 30330, right?
Correct. And that's the same number that he asked the world to text to for this election this year in 2020.
Well, it's definitely weird, but I don't know if I don't know much about the whole text to text numbers, but I'm pretty sure they have to be in that 3 something or something. I don't know. It's definitely an odd one, and I would have never caught that. But again, how would you find the divide part?
It's just right, and it's just the messaging, you know. Like I said, you've caught many of them, Adam. You've talked about them. The world's witnessing them. We've seen them in a iPet goat and this and that, and you know, since even back in the day. I just thought this was one to bring up because you know the numbers are there, and it's just 2020, the year, divided by the mark, and you get that his text me number, or the number that he's saying, hey, text me and donate. And I'm not saying it means anything or doesn't mean anything. All I'm saying is the messaging will ramp up. The more optics that we start seeing, all the optics that you talked about tonight's show, the messaging and signaling will definitely ramp up too.
Well, as far as predictive programming, I do believe in that because there's too much stuff from the past that was right there in the open, and we never saw it. It actually, if you do believe in it, then you start believing in true evil. Then you actually believe in evil as well, which a lot of people nowadays don't believe in anything spiritual and nothing other than you know, it just evolved and it's this and that and Big Bang and all, you know. So I think people have to realize this is an incredible existence that we're in. It's not even a planet. I mean, we're in a extreme existence, and people don't understand that. The stuff we accept as fact is so much stranger than anything else. Well, thanks for calling in, Snaps. All
right.
Keep it positive.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, you have a good night, okay?
Definitely. And yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to all the fam out there and all you guys who are doing what you're doing in the times we're in. Keep it up, man, because like I agree with you, communications and travel and some of the key factors, we already seen shortages and hearing reports, but I mean, you know, who knows how long we got, and I just want to say thank you to all you guys who are putting out, as I call the truth, but for you, man, just giving us a platform to say what we got to say and do what we got to do and discuss these subjects. So thanks, man. Thank you for the fam, and thank you, fam.
All right. Have a good night. Bye. Good night. All right. Let's see here. We've got, let's see here. Up next. Okay. So this is another thing. Yeah, again, it's like, what is it? Just every single day now, it's some sort of meteor shower or this or that. Well, now a huge fireball lit up the sky. I actually need to go to that gentleman's video. I asked him for permission to play the video. I don't know if he ended up getting back. Let's see here. South Pole, by the way. Worldwide subscription and discussions of critical issues via channels like this are vital. The UN is rapidly rolling out smart cities initiative. Victoria, Australia signed on, and it is the most lockdown state in the country. Police wearing UN smart city uniforms. That was 159 from Australia. I don't know what that, but thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, South Pole, and you are completely right. We're going to actually have a whole episode on smart cities coming up. And then we have JZZN Products says, through the looking glass is quite beautiful. Trust the plan. Thank you, JZZN, for the massive support tonight. Again, vote for Kanye. I ain't saying she a gold digger, says Eric M. That's funny. Only person that tagged my name. That actually worked. I saw that one out of all of them. So I'm going to show you this fireball, and I'm actually going to check right now to make sure. I want to see if I can. His name is Trucker Bailey. Let me see if I can see this. Let me see. Let's see. Gonna pull this up. Dang it.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
Hey, he did reply to you. I can tell you.
No. I thank you. He did.
Yeah.
Positive vibes. Okay, but
It's not clear.
It says, "Hey Marfoogle TV, thanks for the positive vibes." I said, "Hey, would you give me permission to use this on my next live show? We have an average of 40 to 60,000 viewers, and would link them directly to you. Good catch." And he says, "Hey Marfoogle TV, thanks for the positive vibes." It's not a yes or a no. I'm gonna assume. I mean, if he, I hope that we send him a lot of positive love and says thanks for the positive vibes. So, maybe he assumes I already used it. So, seems like we can do this. So let me show you this. This is the video, and it's extremely high definition. Trucker Bailey, who has a great channel, he has an extremely good camera. It's like 4K. Unbelievable, but the sound is what it's about. Look at this. Bam. Bam. And then listen to this. This is the creepiest part. I don't know why it's creepy. The voice.
Whoa, anybody see that flash of light? Something just came streaking across the sky. Yeah, I seen that. I didn't know what the hell it was. Whoa, anybody see that flash of light? Something just came streaking across the sky. Yeah, I seen that. I didn't know what the hell it was. Oh, big one, man.
And that is what's so cool about, say, they've got their CBs in their trucks, and he's driving down the street, and then that big thing happens. I actually checked out, he has another very cropped in one on his TikTok too. Trucker Bailey is over on TikTok as well. But I thought that was just the sound of the radio, and it in that video you realize that all these truckers in that area just saw this just boom, and they're all talking about it. I mean, it's crazy. This is on the East Coast. A lot of people saw it streak across 3 different states. What is going on with all these fireballs? And they're coming out of nowhere. I said 3 years ago that this was going to triple, that fires were going to triple, that everything was going to triple. And that was not just me I wasn't being prophetic or anything. I was going off of a source I truly believe, somebody who has worked somebody who's worked with multiple agencies. Again, they said that the earthquakes would triple, the fires would triple, the meteors would triple. And now we're sitting here and it's actually happening. At some point, I get surprised and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, think about it. All the video, I mean, it's way more than what it was. We're getting fireballs all the time now. Almost every week, multiple big ones. Not just shooting stars, coming into our atmosphere and burning off. Some not burning. The one in Africa just a month ago, big old crater, and they covered it up and said it was a truck that blew up. But there was no evidence that anything was underneath the ground or blew up. It was an impact down. It even had a burn as it came in. So, I mean, come on. People are acting like it's Jamaica. Jamaica had the one that they said was going to go right past us. Well, didn't go right past us. In fact, it landed in the water and caused a small wave. So, I think they know a lot more than that they tell us. And, of course, that's how they have to do it. They're not going to panic us because people are people. Fear porn, right? Everybody gets afraid. Everybody gets so panicked. They can't breathe. Oh, yeah. We shouldn't do that. Honestly, if we didn't, they would tell us the truth. If everybody was, like, we would have to be a different civilization. But if everybody's like, oh, the world is going to end in 3 days, then they would tell us absolutely everything. The reason they don't tell us a lot of this is because of our reaction. If we didn't have that reaction as a society, they would tell us everything. Again, that's Trucker Beetle Bailey. Awesome channel. And then Massachusetts town bands together to help feed a girl with autism during the pandemic. It says, I thought I had reported on every subject imaginable until this week when I traveled to Attleboro, Massachusetts, and met Crystal McDonald. Crystal's unlikely obsession with canned pasta began after the birth of her daughter, Ashlyn. Ashlyn is autistic, and earlier this year, she stopped eating food altogether, with the sole exception of SpaghettiOs and meatballs. It says teachers and therapists were working to expand her palate when the pandemic hit, clearing grocery store shelves of a lot more than just toilet paper. Couldn't find SpaghettiOs anywhere, McDonald said. It's like they were one day there and the next they were gone. Wait. Why was there a run on SpaghettiOs, I asked. I don't know if people thought, like, if the world ended, you could survive on SpaghettiOs. I just know that I was losing my mind trying to find them. So, one thing I would think about, gosh, how healthy would it be to live on only SpaghettiOs? How many of you, though, have had a kid that only can eat something? Have you ever had somebody with special needs? I have an autistic, my nephew's autistic. I understand it completely. How many of you have kids, though, just normal kids, that only will eat certain foods? Like my daughter, peanut butter and toast, peanut butter bread. Won't eat a sandwich, but peanut butter toast. It's the weirdest thing. But only SpaghettiOs, it says, and that's when the miracle happened. SpaghettiOs just started showing up on her doorstep. Hundreds of cans sent by people in her community who had heard about Ashlyn and wanted to help. And if it wasn't for the kindness of people like that, we would not have gotten by, McDonald said, adding, when you have a child with special needs, their future is always in the back of your mind. Who's going to take care of them when I get old? And to see people come out and embrace us give me so much hope for that they will love her and take care of her when I'm not here. SpaghettiOs is hardly a culinary cause to celebrate, but in this home, at least every can is now fortified with faith in humanity. So they could not find the only food that she would eat, and she posted, and everybody sent out SpaghettiOs. So all the people that hoarded them probably thought, wow, we're being idiots, and then sent them to this woman. All right, Dex, that one got me a little bit. I didn't expect that. Good job, Dex. That especially with my nephew, I totally understand, and somebody from outside looking in would not understand that. Again, most of the stuff we try to bring you up before the end as well. We got one more caller here. We've got, let's see here. Wisdom and Faithful Wisdom. Experiment with new high-speed cell networks. Dex, if you want to bring them in, Wisdom from Ohio is calling in and has a video to go along with. Dex.
Hey, Adam, we got Wisdom now live on the air.
Wisdom, you are live on Marfoogle News. First-time caller.
Oh, my goodness. Hello. Yes, first-time caller, but a big-time fan of the show. I mean, as all this stuff was happening, binge watching your channel was what got me like, okay, other people see that this is happening too. So I just want to thank you for all that you guys do, because it really lets us know what's going on out there. So we appreciate you.
Well, and I again, it's somebody explain this show.
Hello?
Can you hear me, ma'am? It must be a bad delay, I think.
I can hear you.
Okay, it's a bad delay. I'm just going to let you talk. Don't worry
if I can hear you.
Don't worry if I'm responding. I'm just going to let you say your piece, and everybody can hear you, and audio is great.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So when all of this started happening, me and my best friend are very logical thinkers, so we created our channel, the Faithful Wisdom Warriors channel, because we wanted to find solutions for some of these different problems. We didn't like feeling helpless. So long story short, Dex told me to watch my words. But I started learning about radiation from the 5 gangsters. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So we learned about radiation and how back in the 70s, people were putting on aluminum foil hats. And we were just talking about how silly that was. But then I started having really bad dreams. Really bad dreams, like just scary stuff where the devil himself was in my house, right? Or my friends wanting to just seductive, like, let's go kick it. Don't be about God. Don't be about any of those things type feelings. I'm on the phone.
From past to present.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
The gangsters, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Are you there?
Yes, I accidentally had some audio from my own channel pull up. You'll get it in a second. Keep going and continue.
Oh, that's okay. Keep going. Let me hurry up. I promise you I'm going to hurry up, because I know you said, and I'm so grateful you guys let me come in on the end of the show. So we found out about that the radiation was the government already had it, basically. So we started learning a little bit about it. So what we ended up doing was going to Amazon and purchasing radiation shielding fabric. And we did it like a science experiment, just logical women, professional women, just totally like an experiment. And we wore a scarf with radiation protected in it for an entire week. Do y'all know my dreams changed back to good dreams where I wasn't waking up going, whoa, what was that? So that was just something like my son, what also prompted it, my 26-year-old son came in the house and said, hey, these people acting crazy out here. It's like they got the frenzies, 5 gangster frenzies. Y'all know I'm just saying gangster, but really I mean the letter, right? So he was saying they have the frenzies. And I saw less frustration, less anger, less all this just from protecting and shielding my body from radiation for an entire week. So I just want to say, for anybody who's feeling like all this stuff is so bad and we don't know what we can do, think outside the box and know that there are things we could do. God always gives us a way out. Yes, it may be weird that somebody wanted to wear a scarf because they're in a high 5 gangster neighborhood, but at the same point, would you want your mind to be susceptible to all of that, what they said was a weapon? Or would you like to find a way to protect yourself? So I'm just saying that's something we did, and we saw an actual change in our sleep patterns, how we felt on a daily basis. We felt better, all from going to Amazon and buying some radiation protection fabric. So that was something I wanted to tell people. We don't have to stand by in this. There's little things we could do. We also hired a lawyer. One of our videos on Faithful Wisdom Warrior, we hired a lawyer to see, just to comb through all the different conspiracy theories to see what was real. And I tell y'all, this is a pandemic, or we are geniuses. We are the most sound, logical-minded people in the world, because it seems like the rest of the world aren't using logical, sound thinking. So, just keep your head up. Know that there's ways out of it. Watch our video about legally what the lawyer came back with about the election and all that kind of stuff. So just watch our video and know that you don't have to feel downtrodden in this time, that there's always a creative way out, a creative way not to be affected so deeply. So that was all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you, Faithful Wisdom Warriors. Awesome call. I also want to say there's a lot of evidence by independent research to say that these things affect us. Of course, then there's also been the cancers of the side of the face, and it just so happens from people that are constantly on their phone, work a lot, this and that, and now they connect it. And then, of course, I mean, there's a million things that you can go look up. I think the 5 gangster was the best way to put it. Awesome. And again, I think that you're right, and I am actually I want to try it too, putting something like that over to see if it changes. Maybe it's why my 5-year-old is having bad dreams. Maybe she's been exposed to too much electronics. Great call, thank you. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go? And of course, I know there's going to be a delay, so.
The only thing I want to say is thank you for having us on the show. Our show was driven by we had a preppers group. Like, I had a supernatural experience where we had a preppers group, and we all were preparing before all of this stuff happened. And then eventually, once it happened, it was like, we got to tell the world what we know. So we spend big money to make sure we get accurate information over at Faithful Wisdom Warriors. So I would just love it if you guys, stay tuned to our channel. We're not monetized or anything. We're literally doing this because God said, do it. So, I would love if anyone come see what we're talking about.
Hey, well, I think the Foogle fam is going to go over. Thank you for being in the Foogle fam.
Thank you.
You guys are making your own fam now. So Faithful Wisdom Warriors, if you guys want to go check them out, their link will be on the website. What do we call both of you, though? Do you have names you would like to be called? As far as who is the other person? And are you on the left or the right of the video?
Wisdom.
Your Wisdom?
I'm the one with the dreadlocks.
Okay, so your Wisdom, and then the other woman is Faithful. Okay, perfect. Well, we're heading over now. We're gonna love mob you. Okay, it seems like your reasoning is just. So thank you so much. You have a God blessed day. You have a blessed day. Okay, thank you, Faithful Wisdom Warrior.
God bless you too.
All right, you have a good one. That was Faithful Wisdom Warriors. They were at 172 subscribers. I bet you they've gone up a little bit. Let's see here. Have you ever thought about that? Blocking the stuff. Look at that. Boom. They've already doubled. So that's awesome. And I bet you it's going to go up. You know that you can actually go live from your phone until you hit 1,000 subscribers. And that is another reason. As far as monetization, that also gives you a chance in the algorithm. If you're running a company, which video would you make viral? One that makes you money or one that doesn't? Especially when it goes against the grain. That's why it is important to get monetized as a small creator. You need 1,000 subscribers, but you also need to get your watch hours. So 4,000 watch hours. So that can be the harder part. But actually, if you're doing lives, then 30 people for 20 minutes, it all adds up. Again, thank you guys for coming on. That was a really great call. They're already up to 522, so they're already halfway there. Boom. That's Foogle fam right there. That is the Foogle way. Again, one thing I will say is we've helped over 500 channels get to 1,000 or more, most of which actually in one call. What I do ask is if it seems like 1 out of every 20 just ends up being a total jealous jerk, feel free to unsubscribe to those people. If I've literally helped them with their first 1,000 subscribers, don't feel bad for unsubscribing if they just turn into a complete jerk. And I mean that. Like, I've never said anything negative about any channel. Feel free to just back right out. I think that way, then less will do it, and we'll have a more positive group, because I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, how would you do that? Somebody helped me a very long time ago. One, I just don't do that. I don't talk negatively about other creators, but it's like, what have I actually done to anybody? Why would you do that? It's just being a jerk to be a jerk. It doesn't make sense. So I think, because the only other option is to stop doing love mobs, and I don't want to. I don't want to stop doing love mobs. I think that it's the best part of what we're doing here. I think it's look at Wages World, 40,000 subscribers. We helped him get his first 1,000. Look at NPC Show, 60,000 subscribers. We helped them get their first 1,000 subscribers. Now he's done, 1,000. Homegrown USA, first 1,000 subscribers. He's 15,000 subscribers. Snafu's up to like 5,000, first 1,000 subscribers. There's people that will keep going and they might succeed. And then they have their own communities that they tend to. And they're helping and they're trying to spread truth and they're trying to spread stuff. Because we can't just be one. I can't be the only person, right? There's no other channel that helps other channels. They consider it competition or helping somebody else. And then, you're taking those eyes and then giving it to other people. That's what I've done. I've been selfless this entire time. And I don't say I'm selfless because that's not selfless. That sounds weird. And that's why I never say anything. But think about it. What have I done on this show? I've given my viewers to other people for the entire time I've been live. And it's actually helped a lot. In the end, I would hope that those people would get my back if I ever got taken down. And I know they would. Just like when Discord went down, how many videos did people make? We had like 200 channels. Which I still think if we can get a hold of somebody that is at that place, at this point I don't want to use it anyways because of what they did. But if we could get a hold of a employee, I would want to show them that to make them cry. Yeah. Dex, thank you so much tonight. You are half the show and you are half the magic.
Did you happen to catch, just a quick update, there was a link I put in the screener. There was a swarm. It's really interesting when I looked at it today, and I think somebody alerted Rip Curl who sent it in. Maybe some of the Foogle fam were commenting on it.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, take a look at it. So, I don't know how much this may play into, what's happening from the solar side. There's lots of, pressures around Earth and lots of different things happen when solar flares come through. But looking at the swarm on this map, and it was like 111 in the general area, but in this one specific spot, there was 83. And I'm hoping the map will pull up exactly. Yep, it's pulling up exactly what I saw.
Whoa.
Look at that. All right in one little area.
Okay, that does not look good. So I'm trying to see where in California this is, because the map is... Is this by where the Cascadia ends, or is this San Andreas?
This is southern. If you scroll down just a little, you'll see the Mexico border there. So this is Southern California.
So I wonder. Oh my gosh! You know where this looks like it's close to? Is that little inlet where they call it the ticking time boom? Right? Is this the one fault that it's in the worst place? It's only capable of a 7.5. But it's the fact that it is such a bad place that it would just be absolutely the most horrific thing ever. All brick, just the worst. I'm trying to think.
Some
of what
people
that
are saying
fault was.
Salton Sea area. I think it was the Salton.
What in the heck?
Look at my notes here. It was.
Do you guys realize that we just had two jets go down by the Salton Sea? What
Yeah,
the hell
Salton
is going
Butte.
on? What the hell is going on? That's just weird. Okay. Either way, Apple Blossom has been just an amazing supporter over on DLive tonight with 5.6 thousand lemons. That's incredible. Same with Gone Girl, 3.6 thousand lemons. Kaja Fly Girl as well, number 3, over 3,000. Kelly almost there as well, almost 3,000 lemons. Baldy Locks Awake. You guys are the top 5 tonight. Thank you. Susan Donahue, regardless, you don't actually have to anything because you have been YouTube's most consistent supporter. We thank you. Seriously, you've supported us. I hope that people don't feel like they have to continue to do something. That's what I hope people don't. Either way, Susan's done enough that we're going to call her name out regardless. Even another commenter said, "Where's Susan Donahue?" You don't have to. Just so you know, we're trying to figure out a way. You're kind of in like in the Hall of Fame, right? Not in a good way. Like when you guys support like this, you can't understand how much we appreciate that. We are trying to build something and we are trying to bring on more people. First, we need to basically do steps. I started this by myself. Now it's me and Dex. Now Dex is half of this. Now we need to bring in another person. And it's been a grind, especially with all of the drama that's gone over the past few years. We need to grow, and we need to grow fast. Because obviously I feel like we are coming close to something. And we need all of you guys to reach your hands out, grab people, invite them in. If you want to, advertise the channel somewhere, do whatever you need to do to get people in. Once they're in, I'll do the rest. All right. Rose to the Moon, thank you so much. Gone Girl 777, Kaja Fly Girl, Susan Donahue. Again, Adam Dex Mod Squad, thank you for your incredible work. We are the 99%, aka hashtag Team Humanity, and we do not consent. Suzanne says, everyone look at Survival Living's new video about new Carrington event. Great vid. I will. And Survival Living is a great channel, by the way. They actually said, too, the next Carrington event will be seen in our lifetime or our children. I don't think we will get notified beforehand. Carrington took 17 hours to hit. Huh. So, but could we see it coming if it took 17 hours to hit? I don't know. Either way, all of the people tonight, including Nikki and Hickavoy, can you bring Momo on the show? I can. I'll bring her on the next show. And I'll bring the newest kitten. We have one that's this big now. So I'll bring her on. Keith Saber, and big shout out to Dex for all that he does to take care of the Foogle fam and help make this show as successful as it is. God bless you, Dex. Dang right. Dex does an awesome job. Dex is a good man, good father, good everything. So, all right, you guys, it's time for the shoutro. It's official. Road to Hana. It's the San Onofre nuclear plant. Former employee. Okay, whoa. Road to Hana says that this is where the San Onofre nuclear plant is, and they are a former employee. That is scary. That is not a fact. That is something that is in a comment. But I will check in on that, and I will fill you in on Twitter. Make sure to get over there. Dex, how much time do we have left? If any. We might have went over.
Adam, we got 10 minutes.
Perfect. We're going to say what's up, and then remember, you can have 24 hours chat over on DLive. In fact, if you go from YouTube, usually we cut the feed on YouTube so it goes under 2 hours because it doesn't process if it goes above that. You can always go over to DLive, and usually I host somebody, and then I go into the chat with them. We usually support another creator and even host, and then I go in there and chat with you guys. So if you want to join us over on DLive, you can. Again, the shoutros, some music. It's me saying thanks to the people that matter most. You. It's called the shoutro because it's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. And then I usually look for the switch that turns up the music. Murder me. I was walking down the street, then I heard me murder bees. It's those murder bees. After me, trying to murder me. I was walking down the street, then I heard me murder bees. They were flying after me, trying to murder me. I've got to go. I've got to go. I've got to go home now. Jam in the pussy woo. DJ man and they owe the crowd. Gotta go back always now. Gotta go when they hold it down. Oh, I'm gonna be DJ man. 2, 3, go back around. TKO, CCI. Gonna bring back now and a big guy. Oh, 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 oh. Gone Girl 777 has to go early tonight. It looks like we're gonna have to do one early for them. I got all my furniture from IKEA. Now I think I got myself an idea. I got all my furniture from IKEA. Now I think I got myself an idea. I got all my furniture from IKEA. Now I think I got myself an idea. Gun girl, I got my gun girl. Going back now, I've got world. I've gotta go hip ho. I'm gonna go back round like gun girl. Most important one in the world, my friend, gun girl. The most important one in the world. Most important one in the world. No, that doesn't work. Gun girl, gun girl, gun girl. 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 Kelly 2334, Nana Deborah, brilliant. M Menching, Maui Racing Realtor, All Paula 9, Rose to the Moon. Oh, thank you so much. Top 5 tonight. Apple Blossom, kicking it up a notch. Gone Girl 777 in the number 2 spot. Kiaja Fly Girl with number 3. Kelly 2334 with number 4. And Baldy Lock and Jen Lays Awake in number 5. And Mama 17. If it was no. All right, let's make one. I'm just not feeling the previous ones. Let's make a fresh one. Nope. Let's go. Let's start one. All right, what should the subject matter be? Put it in the chat. We're going to make a song based on what you put in the chat. Give me 2 words next to each other. 2 words. Oh, somebody said burn that mask. Beep, beep. Fasting for Christ. Cool. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Sign a new song. Play. D-Live Thumb shouting. Lutefisk. Really? The debate. All right, let's... And yes, we'll put cowbells. Cowbells now. Outage kittens. Oh, I think we got it. Outage kittens. I like it. Outage. 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 You can hear what I'm thinking. Now we gotta add something else. There we go. Put that in there. Gotta redo it. Okay. There we go. We need cowbell. Oh, shaker. There we go. Maybe a couple shakers. Looks like we have our luckiest followers. Dang it. I missed it. It happened fast. There we go, added that. That's what it sounds like without the background. I'd like to go all the way back around. I've got the guide to fly, girl, and we're going down. Mama 17 on call it 9T, car 7 and a snapper B. Defcon 1852 and Laura Magic 52. Reading the gas, spewing